we were hoping to have a nice, fun chat about Noah because Noah's got a ton of cool stuff going on. So, and it's been a while since we got a chance to talk to you about Noah. It's really been since the Muda show. And it seemed like, they were kind of like rebuilding a little bit and setting some stuff up, and some of that stuff is coming to fruition. So we just saw this week that Access reunited, right? Josh Barnett is in the promotion somehow. Jake Lee's reign continues. Wagner 3 is a badass. So let's go and get started from the top, man. Let's talk about this Access reunion.
That seemed to steal the show that night, huh? The Access reunion. I don't know too much about the context, which that's to be explained, but I know that at the end of this month, Keno and Nakajima have a match scheduled for Shinjuku Face.
Ooh. There's a dude who used to do articles for this website that wrote a really good piece on the history of Access, Nakajima, and Go Shiozaki.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Plug my own former work while I'm sitting here.
JD, why don't you provide some of the context? Because I'd like to clip this for YouTube and educate some people.
Oh, I wasn't prepared for this, so I would have read my article again if I had realized that, Mike.
I'm sorry.
You put me on the spot like that. No. So this is a pre-pandemic, so this is Ledette era, Noah. Axis was probably the top team in the company, right? And you had Go Shiozaki and you had Katsuhiro Nakajima, two guys who both had a lot of promise early and both had the tag of not being the guys to really have made it, right? They thought to, neither guy really achieved what they did, but together as a tag team, they were awesome. Right. They were fantastic. And then during the pandemic, during Go Shiozaki's just epic run, he's having these fantastic matches in front of, unfortunately, nobody because it was 2020. They split. And it was, I wrote this big thing about the team and their divorce, basically, and Nakajima joining Congo. And they just had this freaking epic title match in, I believe it was November of 2020. And it was just, man, it was my, of that early pandemic era in 2020 when the world was not a great place to be, like the Go Shiozaki title run in Noah and specifically this match with Nakajima were probably the highlights of the year for me. Like this was them getting back together again after Go's been out for a long time with shoulder. And that was the whole story of his title reign too, is how much more can he take? His arms are going to fall off at any moment. And I thought it was working. Like I knew he probably had a bad shoulder. I didn't realize how bad he was until when he lost the title to Muda. We didn't see him for 18 months, something like that.
He had surgery.
While. Yeah,
major shoulder surgery.
So the whole rehab and everything, and he's looking good. He didn't do that much in the match. He did just enough, but he also got pinned too. I think this is another story that's going to be explained, in the next coming weeks. So we'll see, but it caught everybody off guard.
Yeah. So a little background, my history with this story. So at the time I had that Combat Republic gig I was doing, and that whole thing was built around me getting free fight codes. So I was like, I used the website to promote fight events, and Noah at the time, they were putting their shows on Fight. And so, and then JD,
by the way, thanks.
JD wrote the article, and then we tweeted it out, and then we got free fight codes, and we both ended up watching it. So I learned all about the build up to the match, why it was important. And then, because if I went in there cold, it still would have been an awesome match, but having JD's do the research and provide that context, I went into it. And then that's the moment that I became a Noah fan. Was that main event match, and it was all through JD's article, me not working for Fight but doing Fight promotions online and getting those fight codes, and then I just became a Noah fan. I've been watching ever since.
Remember how awesome fight codes were? I miss those days.
Yeah. They ghosted me after a while.
They did.
Yeah. So what's up with this Josh Barnett Funaki thing? How did this come about?
That is something that I don't think even Josh knew about it. Another thing that caught everybody off guard. He got chonoed. It's what it is right now. I don't know if there's anything scheduled. There's probably an idea on the table, but I think it's being sorted out now. I don't know when. or
So
I don't know
would you like
where
to
it would
just set
happen
the
either.
would you like to just set the scene? Like what happened? Like what was Josh even doing there? And then all of a sudden, Funaki comes and talks to him.
Well, rewind a little bit because Barnett was, I believe, scheduled to be in Japan anyway because he had a talk show planned with him and Akira Maeda and Kota Ibushi. So it was kind of like a special. He was going to be there for a special event. He was doing some press with Japanese martial arts press there, and I believe I don't know who, but he has lots of contacts within NOAH. I know he's Timothy Thatcher's coach and worked with Hideki Suzuki, and he knows everybody. So I think he was asked to do some special guest commentary for the big show at Sumo Hall, and they brought him in at first during the Masakatsu Funaki Shinya Aoki GHC martial arts rules match, which is basically like UWFI style, point style, no pinfall, submission only, TKO only, 5 points starting. And if you had a rope break or something like that, you lose a point. They had a good match, and then afterwards, Funaki got on the mic, challenged Barnett. He said, sounds good to him, and I guess we'll have to wait and find out when and where, and under what rules too. I don't know. It seems like it would be what martial arts rules. I don't know, GHC martial arts rules, but
I mean, that's a perfect fit. Josh Barnett, with what NOAH is today, with you got a lot of the older MMA slash Inokiism style guys kind of having their resurgence over there. I think that Josh Barnett is a perfect fit for what you guys are doing over there. And that's a big pickup actually. But we got to see what happens, but I'm excited.
Yeah, I've been surprised that he hasn't been picked up before. Like I know he was in New Japan a long time ago, and he had made event of the Tokyo Dome at one point, and then he's just been doing commentary and doing some pro wrestling and fighting off and on. He can't really stick on with any MMA promotion, despite, probably still right now he could probably hold his own with just about anybody out there. But yeah, NOAH is a good spot for him. I love this fit.
I mean, I don't know how. I think it just might be like a per diem type thing. I don't know if there's and that's how it works with a lot of the contracts, especially with foreign talent over here. I don't know. Some talent signs contracts that are for a more extended period of time. Some people, they might be in town for another tour and get brought in for a couple shows, and you get a couple days work. So it's all different for each talent. And I wouldn't say he or other certain talents are in NOAH rather than working with NOAH right now. I mean, there's a lot of guys that come in from like the local companies too, Dragon, Gay, 01 and such. So it's kind of more like a revolving door. Like if we want to do business, come through, and that's it.
That's one thing's making NOAH cool right now, is that there is no just set roster. Like guys will come in and guys will come out. Like I really enjoyed the Dragon Gate connection that they had going on for the past year. Ada is such a scuzzball, and I just love seeing him show up and just be grimy and have awesome matches at the junior level. And I think that this relationship that's worked out. I like Jake Lee's new stable. Like I think it's such an interesting mix of guys. Like we talked about how the Muda show was kind of like the end of an era of NOAH, and something new would have to emerge from that. And I think what's coming out from that has been really interesting. Like this is the best. Like you and I, Justin, have talked about Jake Lee for years, right? I think this is the best version of Jake Lee we've ever had. Like he's far more interesting here than he was in either of his incarnations in All of Japan. I love the NOAH version of Jake Lee, and I think that we're starting to get some really interesting matches in this. Like this title run is becoming interesting. I thought maybe he would just be a transitional champ to somebody else, but it seems like NOAH's really kind of going all in on Jake Lee. And I like where we are post Muta. What is the kind of vibe in the company right now?
I mean, so far so good. I mean, it's been what, 3 months, 2-3 months,
something like that
since then. The spotlight is definitely on Jake Lee right now, and he's steering the ship, as we're saying. It's weird because he has a very strong connection to fans of Japan. People, and especially women, love this guy. But over here,
handsome dude.
Yeah, but and he's a lot bigger than Japanese wrestlers.
He's like 6'3", right?
Yeah, he's about the same. He's around the same size as like Okada, like more like a big tall basketball player, swimmer or something. not as like short, stocky like some other guys. So it's a little bit of a different physique that you see. That was one of the kind of highlights that Marufuji was trying to bring up before the match. Is he's smaller, but that actually makes him more afraid of me. That sort of strategy. So with Jake, yeah, I think everything it's geared at from Noah's point of view. We got the N1 coming up in August, but I don't know what's going to happen at this All Together show, because that's less of a Noah production, more of a joint production that New Japan is the lead on.
Right. So Noah's just kind of supplying talent for that. Basically supplying talent for a New Japan show, really, right?
No, because there's a lot of other people involved. It's more like that that junior thing that just happened. That All-Star Junior tournament. It's like everybody's kind of involved, but Noah's or New Japan's at like kind of leading it. You know what I mean?
Right. Similar to the Muda show, you know, Noah led that.
Yeah, like Noah was like leading it.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. People are less into like, I don't know, thinking one company is going against you. You know what I mean? It's not as much. It's not as
territorial.
Not territorial or like competitive or something. I don't know.
No, it's kind of why Japanese wrestling is awesome, especially when this stuff goes on, is because you can have these things. This would never happen in the US ever. But here in Japan, it's not frequent, but it's been more frequent lately than it has been. And it makes things interesting. Like the idea of Kenta Miyahara showing up on a show with Tanahashi and with, you know, all the Jake Lee and these, well, actually Jake Lee and wrestled a million times, but I mean, like with all these guys cross promoting, it's interesting to me. I hope we can get some cross promotional matches, and it's not just this is the Noah match, this is the All Japan match, this is the New Japan match. I hope we do see some intermix. It's probably going to be tags, but that's fine with me. I just get to see some cool matches. So I like this idea that we can have something. You know, it's one of the things that makes Japanese wrestling unique.
It's happening a lot now. I mean, Kano has been everywhere. He's the Dragon Gate Tag Champion right now. He's the All Japan All Asia Tag Champions right now. He has matches coming up. Him and other guys from Congo showing up in All Japan. There's a lot of crossover there too. Suwama's going to be on a couple Noah shows coming up this month and next month. He came into the show last week at Korakuen and powerbombed Kano. They have an ongoing rivalry going.
I hope we get that match in Noah, because people would make fun of Suwama back in the day. And just because he was just the champion in All Japan just forever, it seemed, right? But when I saw him in Noah at the Muda show, I was like, he was in that 6-man tag, and he was the most impressive guy in the match to me. He was awesome. I was like, I want to see more of this. I want to see more of this guy in Noah, man. He's fantastic.
That's just like people online spouting their opinions, and then it spreads, and then people have an idea that it's someone wrestles a certain way, but he's always been like that. He had a funny reaction too at that Muda show. He said at a press conference, "Hey, why am I'm not in the main event against Muda or Mudo?"
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll definitely see more of the working together, because the idea, back to JD's original question, the idea is that we're in a post-Muto world, and the only real serious logical way to help the industry survive is to work together. You know, if a ship is going down, like you can't have cliques and teams while you sink. You're all on the same ship, so that's the mentality there. And why not? You know,
no, wrestling, especially coming out of the pandemic, which seemed to hit Japan, Japanese wrestling specifically, a lot harder than the US. I mean, they just took their the country just took their restrictions so much more seriously than the US did, right? Like they're in arenas, but they've been playing to like third full houses for years now, right? We're just starting to get back to normal. So these companies have to recoup some losses. So I get it. The best way to do that is to, hey, let's just do dream matches. Let's just do super cards for a while, which, as a fan, especially as a Western fan that, doesn't get this stuff every day and does most of his most of the viewing is online, or I'll talk to you and, hey, make sure you watch this match. I'm like, all right, yeah, cool. I'm more excited now than I've been in a while for things like just this new frontier. Like I tend to think that some really great art gets created when things are bad, and not say things are bad, but like you're really coming out of some uncertain times, right? This the WHO today said, COVID's no longer a crisis. We're all screwed. It's here forever. So yeah, might as well move on. So it's, for wrestling fans, it's a good thing. Wrestling is so much, as we've learned, wrestling is so much more fun with fans. Mike and I hosted an Impact podcast for a while with some of those empty, those empty arena Impact shows were something.
They were tough. Yeah, they were tough. One of the major revelations this year, coming out of Noah, I gotta say it. I've been wanting to talk about this guy for a while because every time I see him, he just keeps getting better. And it's Dr. Wagner's kid, Wagner 3, right?
Yeah, Dr. Wagner Jr.
Dr. Wagner Jr.'s kid.
Yeah, Dr. Wagner Jr.'s kid.
Hijo Dr. Wagner Jr. The son of Dr. Wagner Jr., who is...
I like calling him Wagner 3. I want him to just do that. That's just
Wagner
I think it looks better on
Trace.
a t-shirt. Yeah, there you go.
That's a lot easier.
Mike, I completely agree with you. I think he is so much of what's been missing in like just a person of that size who can really kind of be a heavyweight, but also work seamlessly with lightweight heavyweights and fly if you need to, and have a straight up brawl if you need to too. I think he's had a lot of variety in his matches, and his match this weekend was great. I thought the finish was great. I thought it was really cool with him and Hideki Suzuki. He's been great.
Yeah, because I'll be honest, when I first started watching him, it was he was tag team partners with Rene Dupree, the guy from La Resistance. They it was just like the most random thing. I'm like, how the hell did Rene Dupree pop up in Japan? But they were the tag champs there for a while, and then I watched the team and I was like, they're not that impressive. But then he left. He goes back to Canada or whatever he's doing, and Wagner's by himself, and he wins the title, and every match he's had since he's won the title has just been tremendous. It's like one banger after another. He had an excellent match this week against Hideki Suzuki. I think that he's a luchador that can work Japanese style, he can work lucha style, he can work American style. Like, I think this guy's going to be a big deal.
I can't wait to see. He was the kid that was in the ring when Psycho Clown took his dad's mask, 2017. So
I remember
he'll have his revenge because he's older now. He's a big dude. He's basically he wrestles like his father, but he's bigger and faster, and he's really gotten over with the fans. He has that kind. I think sometimes fans in Japan really want almost like the stereotype of what they think, and when it comes to wrestlers from the States, from Mexico, they want the classic look. From Mexico, they want the classic luchador look with the Azteca kind of artwork style, just traditional. Sean Legacy, that new guy, he has that white meat baby face, blonde hair, blue-eyed, muscly kid, just superstar look. That the traditional look, kind of not atypical look, but the complete opposite. So
the Johnny Ace.
Johnny Ace was kind of more feeding into the idea. They didn't have the internet yet. What's so crazy about Johnny Ace? Johnny Ace, I heard. Do you know Bison Smith?
I remember Bison Smith. Yeah,
I've heard the name. Yeah,
he was in Noah years ago. He passed away early. He passed away in 2011, I believe. There's a documentary on YouTube called Bicentennial that just came out about him. It's free on YouTube, but he was awesome. He was very much like, if he was around today, people would be going crazy for him. But he had a tryout with WWE, and the reason they found out later, the reason why he didn't get the tryout was because Johnny Ace didn't like his hair. Because this kid had a mohawk. He was a big dude. And he had a mohawk. He was like Brian Cage, like kind of before Brian Cage. Like, he was a big jack dude. He can kind of fly. Yeah, he was bigger. He was much taller. He's an ex-football player. He was great, but that was the reason. Johnny Ace, a dynamic dude indeed. Ugh.
Johnny Ace, who famously hired the wrong one-legged wrestler in the Zach Gowen thing. What an idiot. The fact that guy survived as long as he did is one of mankind's greatest mysteries.
Well, go ahead, Justin.
Go ahead. No,
Okay.
I don't got anything.
No, I was just gonna say you got what's coming up next in Noah that we need to be on the lookout for?
All Together show is going to be next month. At the end of the month, there's going to be the smaller show. Kano and Nakajima, they'll kind of, square their things away, square their business away.
Beat the shit out of each other is what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Kano's channel, I really, really, really wish this was translated into English because his YouTube channel is really making him hot right now. And actually, if you watch the past two big shows, he's just his charisma. He's just so freaking funny and entertaining, and he's so popular from that right now. People are going to like live shows to see him. He doesn't do, he talks about matches. He's 24/7 in character. I don't know if Kano is actually just a name for King Fist or King of Fist or something, like very martial arts sounding, and he's just a unique dude. And he's so funny. And the past two big Noah shows, he's actually come out. He's kind of emceed, like almost introduced them, like getting the crowd warmed up. He has I don't know how do I translate it directly. He basically is saying he calls his fans shitheads. He goes, "Come on, shitheads, get ready and follow me." Sitekoi. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Follow me. That's it. That's his catchphrase. He's been doing a lot of videos with famous martial artists. Like he did this Aikido video recently where there was a guy he was training with like Jeet Kune Do master, and he'll learn these moves on his YouTube channel and he'll actually incorporate them into the match. Like he learned this Bruce Lee.
Cool.
People are not getting it because they're not talking about it in English commentary. But it's a huge part of it was the one match with him and Soya when I think they won. Oh no, they lost the GHC title match to Kitamiya and Inaba, where he did the Bruce Lee kick that he practiced in the video a couple days before. He was training with. It's like a side kick. If you saw the matches from last night, he did the side kick again, the Bruce Lee, kind of like a Johnny Cage shadow kick from Mortal Kombat, if you remember that.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Continue.
Yeah. He does that. He does that, and he did it to Kiyomiya last night, and Kiyomiya flew into the corner. He's doing stuff like that, or he'll learn about some other martial art and somehow try to either incorporate it or teach about it. He has a license to be a middle school teacher. He's a teacher, so he's also been doing, when he has a big match, he'll do something called a nempyo, like a chronological timeline of somebody's history. So when he faced Naito, he made a YouTube video that was like basically a Wikipedia of like in 1996 he did this, and 2004 he did that, and he'll do like a half an hour explaining that. He did a special one for his trainer Jinsei Shinzaki last month in Tokushima, where he'll just kind of be a host. He kind of has that host charisma, that host ability.
Yeah, that is not coming across. That's not coming across.
I know. He's so likable. He's such a likable, cool, fun dude, and the stuff he says. He's a heel, but he's also
he's a cool heel. Yeah.
He's justified. He's just recently in one of his videos, he'll sit down while everybody's cleaning up after the show, and he has like somebody filming him, and he accused Nakajima of being a traitor and Go Shiozaki of being a company like a thief, because he's been away for 2 years just stealing money from the company, and that's all he is.
That stuff's man. I feel like I'm missing.
There's a lot of nuance, and there's a lot of story that they bring. We're trying to do it with the videos. We're trying to do it with some stuff on the website. It's just understaffed. There's a lot going on, especially in Japan. So slowly but surely. Like I know it seems like it's been like a lot of change in the past couple of years, but to be honest, there's like there's so much more that's coming. So it's just going to take time.
If you need an American video guy, I know somebody. So,
well, actually, NOAH, all the production is done by Abema, just like how TNT does AEW.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I actually get.
Fantastic.
No, I get a lot of. I've gotten like requests for production, like for people. Like but it's all Abema. And there's actually something people I feel like they should know is like Wrestle Universe. It is a cyber agent entity, but Abema does the production, but Abema's budget is different from like Cyber Agent Wrestle Universe budget. So it's like there's a lot of working together, but like not like working for a certain goal with a couple different teams as opposed to everybody. Like at WWE, there's like a sales team. They got their own marketing team. In Japan, you would hire an ad agency, you would work with a television company. They're both logical. It's just different style of doing things. So I think people.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, is Abema working with DDT and with Gambare and with Joshi Pro? Or are they just? I've never watched any of those other shows. That's why I was wondering.
All of those are under the Cyber Fight umbrella.
Yeah, I knew they were under Cyber Fight, but I wasn't sure if Abema was just working with NOAH or if they're doing everybody's.
So
everybody's.
Cyber Fight contracts Abema to take care of all the production. Is that kind of how it works?
More or less, yeah. And I mean the people I work with like my team consists of people from like different. It's not just NOAH. It's NOAH and it's Abema and it's Wrestle Universe, and those are like three different. I mean, it's on the same team, but they're technically different entities. So it's it's just more. It's just a different business style. There's more red tape, bureaucratic, and you got to get okay from this department and okay from them. But we can't do that unless this person signs off on it. It's just a process. That's just how business is done. And so sometimes there's a lot more coming, but it's going to take time for sure.
It's interesting because there's nothing like what Wrestling Universe really is in the US. So it's hard to like compare it to anything because it's like it's a network of promotions more so than a promotion that dominates everything. It's different.
I'm hoping to, I hope it can turn into something like a channel, like a BBC or NHK for wrestling. It has that potential. It has that power to do that. But also things like licensing and like it's the idea of creating your own content versus buying content, outside content. Mm-hmm. And I think the focus right now, because Abema's got stake in it too, is just to create as much, create, and own it. But I mean, there's so much opportunity for channels to air old stuff for passive income on like free TV. Mm-hmm. It depends on company goals and aims.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like Anthem, kind of how they do. They have they have their where they have their 24/7 Impact channel, 24/7 Fight channel, 24/7 Movie channel. They could do a lot of those things, and they do with Pluto and Amazon's Freeview and all that stuff. But hey, Justin, man, we're gonna go ahead and let you go. We're gonna talk a bunch of AEW stuff, man, and we really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks,
and next up, Big Noah show. Let's link up again. All right.
Yeah, I think there will be the next. I mean, probably all together, but this summer will be the big shows, and N1 is gonna be. They're gonna do 3 nights at Cork and Hall and.
We should do that when N1 comes up because the G1 always tends to dominate the conversation, but the N1 has a lot of really great stuff, and it always does. So let's bring Justin on and really talk N1 when everybody else is absorbed in the G1. So let's do it.
It's also just 10 days, and it's like 2 blocks. I think it's maybe 10 or 12 people.
More stripped down, simplified.
It's stripped down, and the matches are like 20-minute, 30-minute good matches. There's weird surprises in the booking. I know everybody has an opinion on that, but there's a different lineup this year. and there might be more outsiders. Who knows? There's been a lot of work between everybody. So, yeah, that's a good idea.
Cool, man.
It'll creep up on us.
Take care. Have a great weekend.
Thanks,
All
bro.
right, man. Thanks, guys.